start now. Three, two, one.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Oh, welcome. I hope you all like that new intro. I like it. Hello, everybody. How is everybody? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy chilly Monday here. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's fall here. It's hoodie weather. Hello, everybody. Come on in. It's true crime. Good evening, Miss Tammy. Good evening, Miss Lee and Miss Kathy. How are you guys? I hope everybody's doing very, very well. And we know who this is. Hi, Linda. Linda's our Facebook user. Linda, hi, Linda. That's your name now, FB user. That's your name, Linda. And Mr. Hitman Odell, who, if you guys do not watch the Orion Effect on Sundays, he has a great show with Rhonda. They have all kinds of different guests on. It's a wonderful show. It's like almost like a variety show. I guess it is a variety show. Oh, it's Lisa. I'm sorry, Lisa. Usually that's Linda. That's hi, Miss Lisa. How are you? Look, that's Miss Lisa. Hi, Miss Lisa. That's usually Linda. Linda will pop up. We'll have Facebook user 2. She'll be number 2. I hope everybody liked that intro. I hope everybody is having a wonderful beginning of the week. It's been kind of a wild week. Wild October, and we're almost at the end of October. Speaking of which, at the end of this show, I will be on with Mr. Keith on the Otter's Den at 8 o'clock to discuss another eclipse. So we just went through one eclipse. Now we have another eclipse coming up. Uh-oh. What is this? Been better tested yesterday. Eclipse season is all about tests. It's all about tests. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. If you want one for the search and rescue group, I'll be happy to do one for you. I love to do them. Oh, okay. And you guys don't, at the end of the show, we have a fall one now with pumpkins and cute. Oh, you're so sweet. He's the best. I'm gonna tell on him for a minute. You know, I had never ever, when it was R.I.F.T Radio Network, and Howie had known that I had done true crime. And then Keith and I were doing a show during lockdowns, just on every other Monday, just to help people get through it, what the astrology was talking about. But I never really talked about true crime. So Howie was so great. And he's like, you could do a show. And I'm like, I would never do a radio show. I've never been, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, that was about 3 years ago, I think. 3 years ago, right, Howie? And I didn't know squat. So if anybody ever has a great idea for a vidcast or a podcast, get in touch with him at Rift Nation Network, because he will handhold you, as well as Susan, who Susan is great, and you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So if you have a great idea for a podcast, get with him. We have a great family. We really do at Rift. It's a family. Everybody is so behind everybody's shows. We just help each other out. It's really a great family network. And that's because that's what he is. He's the family network because of him. So I just told on him. But now I'm not, he's probably laughing. God love his heart. He's a sweetheart. I hope you guys are so ready for this show tonight, because this show tonight, when I looked at this case, remember last week, Deja Vu with Aidan Clune? Oh, God love your heart. You're so sweet. Look at him. Now I'm blishing. Blishing. You're blishing. Are you blishing? This is a deja vu of Aidan Clune, if I have ever seen one. And you know what's very bizarre about it? Aidan drove from California to Nevada. Chelsea drove from California to Arizona. What's going on in California? I don't get this. Now I'm really stumped. But I have an update on a prior show that we did, and if you didn't see this show, please go back on YouTube, and you can find the archived shows to watch. But this is just a little tidbit of information on. Remember when we did the show on President Obama's chef that had drowned up around his mansion? Well, it was just released, I guess, over the weekend or the end of last week. He was indeed, Obama was at the crime scene. He was there. And also, he was with the mysterious witness that is a woman, but yet we still don't know who it is. They still have yet to name her. She's redacted and everything, and that's okay too. She was with him when the police interviewed her the next day at his mansion. So I think it's pretty interesting facts that are coming out, that at first we were told he was not home. They were not even on the island. Then they were on the island, and no, they were on another section of the island. Wait, no, now we know he was at the actual crime scene. Number two, we have found out through released reports from the state police. Secret Service has it taped. There's a tape of Chef getting in the water on the paddleboard with the, I guess, the mysterious female witness. So I'll keep on track of that one because, and they wonder why we're like, wait, this sounds suspicious. Because when the facts come out, we're like, we were lied to. Why didn't you just say in the very beginning, you were there? This is what you saw. You were a witness. No, I wasn't there. Oh, and then they wonder why people are skeptics. So I agree with you, Tammy. Go figure. I mean, that's why we can be skeptics. We're allowed because you're giving us a reason to be skeptics. So that's just a little update on that case. I think that's about all on all the cases that we do follow. So let's get into Chelsea Grimm's case. This is a very interesting case. Very, very interesting case. Chelsea was reported missing on October the 4th by her family to the police in Phoenix, Arizona. She was last seen, and this changes. This is changing. R.I.F.T Nation Network. This is changing. It was September 28th, now possibly the 30th, could be the 29th. Can't really pinpoint down a date of when she was last seen. So what happened is she was going to drive from San Diego cross country to Connecticut to a friend of the family's wedding. The reason she was going to drive cross country is because she had a pet bearded dragon, and she couldn't fly with her pet bearded dragon. So she thought, well, I'll just make it a cross country trip. I'll meet my parents, meet everybody in Connecticut. Well, on September 27th, she met up with a friend in Phoenix, had dinner. The friend said everything was fine. They made plans apparently to go to buffet on the 28th, and she canceled. She spoke to her parents in that time frame and said, look, I'm not going to make it to the wedding. I'm just going to head back to San Diego, because by then, I guess traveling with a pet bearded dragon where you have to maintain the temperatures and all that good stuff, I guess it got to be too much. I don't know. So what happened is she has a degree in psychology. She is an avid photographer. And somebody called the police on September 28th and said there's suspicious activity going on at the cemetery. So we've got body cam footage of the police officer speaking to her, asking her if she's all right. He had gotten a call. It was a suspicious activity. She was visibly upset. She was crying in the cam footage. She had stated that, she was taking photographs of the veterans, and it just overwhelmed her. Her grandfather was a vet, and if she could just sit there for 10 or 15 minutes and just relax, she didn't want to drive upset. She just got overwhelmed with all the graves. So the police officer, she said that was going to get a room or something to that effect. The police officer said, look, over across the way, see the yellow lights. There's a Love's truck stop. You can camp there in your car, drive over there. Nobody will bother you. So she said, that sounds great. That's what I'll do. Well, now that we are finding out as investigations are moving forward, she indeed went to the Love's truck stop that evening. Okay. Now that was on September 28th, I believe. So that's the last time she spoke with the police, quote unquote, spoke with the police. Now, there are rumors out there that prior to that, she had gone to a hotel and tried to pay with euros as opposed to American money. And the clerk or whoever apparently said she was disoriented. But there's no real witness accounts of that. Nobody's come forward. There's no cam footage of that. So that could just be a rumor. Now, this will show you an area where it says she left on September 24th. On September 27th, she had the date with her friend. On the 28th, in the evening, and the body cam footage, it is dark in this cemetery. It was around 8:40 p.m. that evening when the policeman found her and felt she was, even though she was upset, she was okay to drive. October the 4th, her parents called in a missing persons report on her because they had not spoken to her. October the 5th, Her car, if you look up at the top of the map, was found in a national forest, October the 5th. There is still, it's October 23rd. Chelsea is still missing. She is still missing. So let's go through the timeline. Now, if you're interested in watching the drone footage of this, there's a guy, his name is Steve. He's SF Investigates. He's on X. He's phenomenal. He's a great PI. He sticks all to the facts. He's just wonderful for true crime. He's also a drone operator. This is the footage of like where you can watch all of his drone footage on Twitter, and then he redirects you to the films on YouTube. It's very interesting. He stated in an interview that he was very surprised at the terrain. It was flat, that where they found her car, she could have easily walked out and been, if anybody was even in halfway decent shape, could walk out on the road in any given area where her car was and get help. So it's not like, as we looked at Aiden's case last week, Aiden was out in the middle of BFE. Chelsea was where she could walk to get help. And she was a young girl. She was in good shape. She was an avid camper. So let's get to the information on the car. And there's another one of the area. So as you can see, if she would have walked up the road, it's fairly flat. It's deserty. So Steve, in his interview, and Steve is giving out really great information because now he has joined the family as a PI. So he could give us information that would not hurt the case, but yet he's still clarifying a lot of information. Now, the dates are a little sketch with the witnesses, but there have been witnesses that have seen Chelsea out in this area. So, for example, on September 30th, there was a man and his grandson, and they were either scouting to hunt elk or they were out in that area. They saw her car with no flat tires. They specifically looked for flat tires or if anything had been wrong with the vehicle, checked out the vehicle, and they heard that the tires were flat on the car. Yet they told the PI, Steve, no, they were not flat. That's one set of witnesses. Okay. Now, when the police found her car on October the 4th, it was locked. October the 5th. It was locked. They found it, tagged it October the 4th at midnight. October the 5th, the car was locked. 2 tires, the passenger tire and the rear passenger tire, were flat. Now, when they accessed the car to get in, they had a break in. The alarm went off. So the alarm was set on the car, 2 flat tires, her purse, her keys, a sleeping bag, and her little dragon. Everything's missing out of her car. Okay. So let's go on to another set of witnesses. It was a couple and their child, and they were either camping or hunting. They saw her, and again, they said she was camping. So now there are people that saw where she had actually had a campsite. Now, our last witness was a gentleman that was a woodcutter. He was out cutting firewood. He actually is a part of the search team that was out looking today. Went back to talk to her twice to see if she was all right. And she was fine. And at one point, the couple with the young boy said they thought, there were elk out. She might have been out photographing, but she clearly had a campsite set up. And the PI stated that he can clarify the tires, that the tires were actually blown tires. So, for example, he said she either went over a rock where the tires punctured or something, but she drove on the tires until she couldn't drive any further. And he verified that. People from the transportation department apparently verified that the tires were not slit, the tires were not altered in any way. They were just, looks like, blown out. Like if a female has a blowout on a tire, we keep going. We just keep driving. We don't care. We're like, what do I do? What do I do? And you go about 3 miles until you're like, oh, I guess I better pull over. Females can do that. I mean, I've done it. So we have drone footage. We have that we know that she was going through some things. Apparently, she had just broken up with her boyfriend. Now, let's get to the boyfriend. The boyfriend is at the search area from California. He started a GoFundMe page without the authorization of the family. Family did not authorize the GoFundMe page. Apparently, they had already broken up, and she had made some, it's rumored or allegedly that she was frightened of him. We don't know why. And maybe, I don't know, that could just be a total rumor too. He has written that he's out there searching for her. But once again, the GoFundMe page was not authorized by the family. So that's our circumstances behind Chelsea's disappearance. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what you guys are saying. I'm gotta bury my pet, possibly try it in the cemetery, and then where would you buy a lizard at the desert? I'm gonna bury my pet. Oh, the lizard came from California with her. Oh, look, here's Keith. Oh, welcome, Keith. Hey, I fell asleep. Got you shared out. Well, you know what? Possibly true. I'm going to go bury my pet. Possibly. We don't know what happened to the dragon. Oh, I thought it said then where would you buy one? Bury. You know, that's true. Perhaps something did happen to her little pet that she loved. Apparently, she loved animals. And so this case and for everybody that watched Aiden's case, look at how similar to Aiden's case this is. Some type of possibly an episode. But there is no, they cannot find her. They have had active searches going on. It's like Steve stated, she could have easily exited the area. But let's think for a second. Let's look at it two ways. Either there was foul play or she was disoriented to the point where she had some issues going on that she became disoriented. So somebody thinking clearly could walk out. Somebody thinking not too clear could not walk out. They would possibly be walking in circles. You know, what type of animals are in the desert? Well, I'm sure you have rattlesnakes. I'm sure you have, I don't know if you have bears. I doubt it, but coyotes or wolves. I don't know about the wildlife. However, Steve also stated that there are many, many campsites around this area. They are now into elk hunting season. So there's a lot of people around. And so those are basically the circumstances behind her disappearance. Hopefully more people that see her and we can share her missing poster. So I've got that. Make sure, and I'll put it on Rift Nation Network page. Make sure that we share this out, because even if she is disoriented, perhaps somebody can spot her or see her and call the authorities, because I think the worst thing is that she's disoriented and possibly doesn't know where she's at. Now, Lee says, I don't like that the officer told her to go over to a truck stop area. Now, I'm gonna be a devil's advocate on that one, Lee. We've got a couple of Love's truck stops that are absolutely immaculate. They are safe as safe can be, and they're immaculate. So I don't know. This isn't an area, Lee, that is out in the middle of pretty well. I wonder if I've got the little map. I've got a map and I'll show you. This is not like an area like at Phoenix or anything. This is not a big metropolitan area. It's kind of a like a farm town, like a rural area. Love truck stops usually have security. Our Love truck stops are absolutely wonderful. I have stopped in them a lot when I was driving a lot. I always would, if I saw Love's, that's where my stop would be because I felt so comfortable going there. I always felt very safe. They're lit well, and if the policeman told her that, then he knows the area, knows they don't have issues, so but you never know. We don't know. Hi, Peggy. It's not the place, it's the people. Well, that could be, you just don't know. But I know that where we are, I don't know, the policeman said, there's the lights, nothing ever happens there, you'll be safe there. She did make it there. Also, after she went to the truck stop, she was seen afterward. So actually being at the Love's is not very material now, unless she saw somebody and said, oh, I'm just camping here by myself, but I don't think who would do that? You don't know. We don't know. I mean, anything that we can think of that could happen. And we can't automatically think, oh my God, she's trafficked, or oh my God, it was foul play. Because when somebody's disoriented, we have to remember that, people can have psychotic episodes, I guess I mean to say, and where they are not familiar with their surroundings, they don't know where they are, they can have breakdowns. She could be in a hospital somewhere, not aware of who she is because she's lost her purse or her wallet, can't be identified. So that does happen. So let's take a look at the chart. Now, the first chart I used, and this is kind of like Aiden's chart. I can stand and stare at it forever and ever, and they never jump out at me when these types of things occur. That's why I'm leaning towards a depressive. That's what I'm leaning towards. Is something happened where maybe she just said, I need some time away. I need to be alone. But now she's been gone far, far too long, in my opinion. I think she's been gone far too long. Now, if you look at this chart, she's represented. Let me look at the one in the evening. This is where I used this chart, the one where the police had her on the cam. Now, if you look up at the top in the 10th house, that where it says the 10, up at the very top, it looks like an H. That's the authorities. That's the police. So this chart is talking to us about when the police pulled her over. Okay. She's represented down at the bottom where I circled, and it says Chelsea. The police came up, and Neptune and Pisces, which is up there to the left, is gas station. So that's the policeman saying, go. So we know now she definitely made it to the gas station. Neptune and Pluto combined up at the top where the policeman is show gas station. She went to the truck stop. Now, is there a perp? We don't know if there's a perp. We don't know if there's a perp. What do you look for any type of an episode, whether it be drug related or alcohol related, or somebody maybe having a nervous type situation? You would look in the 6th house, the 12th house, and Neptune. Those are going to be your markers. Possibly Uranus, too. Uranus is like possibly. That could be an accident as well. Uranus can also denote suicide. You know, whenever Jupiter is next to something, too, she's got some things that are hidden that was exaggerated. Some things that were hidden in the 12th house. That's apparent too. The boyfriend knows more than what he is saying. Could be. Maybe on the way for pet lizard died and she got depressed. You know, that's a good question, Tammy, that the witnesses could answer. Because if you saw a pet lizard, that is something that you would remember, you know? And when you lose a pet, you express. Exactly. That's very, very true. Pets are very, very true. Dehydrated, nervous breakdown, that could very well be. Very well be. Oh, the officer saw her. The officer saw the pet dragon because he remarked on it in the webcam, in the cam footage. Yeah. So that we do know. So there's a time gap from September the 30th to around October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Was she camping? We don't know. Where are the phone records? Let's get the phone records. Let's see. What else does this chart show us? You know, with the Pluto up there, Pluto can represent a lot of chaos, chaotic behaviors, chaos. There's a grand trine in this chart. Anytime there's a grand trine in this chart, I believe she's going to be found according to this chart. Remember, this is the chart that was done the evening before. This is the evening when the police saw her. So the chart's basically saying, let's gas station. She went to the gas station. That's what the police told her to do. At that time, Neptune is up there. But this chart is not all, you know, coming at me as foul play, but who knows? We just don't know under these circumstances. Okay, I did another chart. Okay, here we go. Now, this is the area where she was at. And as you can see, Lee, she's far away from like Phoenix or any big city of that I would say would be trafficking type hub. That was her going from San Diego to where she was. Now, where the pins are located are where she was spotted. The pin all the way to the left is the hotel. And then when she was at the cemetery in that area, that's she didn't really get, if you look at it, she didn't get that far for a cross-country trip. She only made it one state over and said, I'm not going. Okay, so I mapped that. Now, I wasn't that crazy about that evening time at all. I'm having a tough time with a timestamp. If I could find out when the woodcutter talked to her, I could get a very accurate map. I believe so. You know, Daniel Robinson also, this is another case where the vehicle was found, and they have searched for years, like going on 2 years now, for Daniel Robinson in Arizona. They can find nothing. So we've got Aiden, Daniel Robinson, and now Chelsea, where they find the vehicles and they can't find nothing of the people. Nothing of the people. And Tammy says, no, I forgot all about Gannon when I get no response from him. Nina was more important. Okay. And Lee said, pinging is good. Yes, pinging is good. They need to, why? I don't know why they, they may have the pings, Lee, but because this is an ongoing investigation, they're just not releasing that information. I would go north, but there are lines everywhere. And remember, with a map like this, you go in between the where the wedges are places of interest. I don't like this map because I mapped it from the evening before. I'm going to map it again when I get a better time. Now, something else that happened is the couple that, okay, has anyone checked the reservation? Now, Steve was asked that on his interview, and he stated that that would be something good to find out. However, that because she was seen after the fact, and the police had pulled her over after the fact, and that she was seen by about 3 or 4 different sets of witnesses following that episode at the hotel. I don't think they've gotten that far yet. They're still just kind of concentrating on the search and recovery right now. So I'm going to I'll do another map too, and I'll share that when I get that one. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to do a chart for the Friday morning following after she spent the night at Love's, and the couple and the little boy or little girl and their child saw her camping, and they stated it was 6 a.m. Now, we don't know if that's a good, as well as I do, when we do forensic astrology, we have to have an accurate time. If we don't have an accurate time, nothing is accurate. The map isn't accurate. The chart really isn't that accurate. It's iffy. So this was kind of a guess that I did because I didn't like the evening chart. However, I did it at 6 a.m. and I got a little bit of a different story on this. A little bit of a different story. Now we see that Neptune is showing up. Here we go. In the 6th house. If you recall what I said, if we think there's some kind of a something wrong physically, it's going to show up in the 6th or the 12th house. Well, sure enough, Neptune shows up in the 6th house. Again, it's opposing her forms of communication. It's the 12th house. So it's almost like she's hiding. It's almost like she's in hiding. So let's look if there's a perp, if there's possibly a perp. Well, guess what? If there is a perp, he was right in front of her on that day, which would have been September 29th. So did she know the perp? Did she communicate with a perp? So some more questions. Up in the 8th house, where the number 8 is, we see Uranus and Jupiter, which Uranus is a shock factor, surprise, could be an accident. It could be an accident. So I'm going to map this. This is her story. So we're going to stay with this. SRY being factitious. Okay. What's SRY mean? Tammy. Lee said probably saw something and they don't like witnesses. That's another possibility. She could have gone off the road and can't be seen from roadway. Well, if you remember the pictures with the drone, I'll show you again. The drone footage, look at that. And they've had search and rescue out there with drone footage. And you would easily spot somebody off that road that took off unless they went into an area of a forest area. I think if it were 4 days camping, it's been since the beginning of October. Now I think it's just a little bit too much time has elapsed. We don't know. So I think this is a very interesting case that we need to keep up with. Keith, I've seen those pics before. Keith, these are this is the drone footage that Steve from SLR Investigates, his drone footage. This is his actual footage that he released. So go to his SLR, yes, Steve. Go to his X account or Twitter account, and he's got there's like 4 minutes of footage, and you can see very easy. But it's almost like a trail. And again, he said he was very surprised at the terrain, that within any area you went, you could walk and you would be out where there is a road, or where you could easily walk out of these areas. But her tent was gone. Another thing, if there's foul play and you're getting abducted, why would you set the alarm on your vehicle? No, we did not. I hope somebody. No, she just recently went missing, Keith, just within the last two and a half weeks. So we have not done this case. But I know exactly what you're thinking of. This landscape is very familiar with Daniel Robinson case. Remember, it's the exact type of terrain. And he was also went missing in Arizona. And they found the vehicle and some of his clothing. However, they've never been able to find Daniel. Never been able to find Daniel. I know that's probably it. Right. They wouldn't take her tent. They'd burn it. Why would they set the alarm in the car? If there's foul play, why would you set the alarm? I don't know. It's just a very, very odd mystery. Very, very odd mystery. Okay. And Kathy said, sounds like she left with someone she knew. That's a big possibility as well. Called that day, I have a couple of flats. Apparently, I don't know if the BF is being questioned or not. Because I really don't get into if the BF did or not. We want to find her. So I'm going to put her missing poster up on Rift Nation Network Facebook page. So if everybody could please share it, because of the fact that, like I said, if she did have some kind of an episode, perhaps somebody will have seen it on our Facebook page. And the more that we share this kind of information, the better it gets out. And they seem like a very, very nice family. They've got some interviews with the mom and dad on YouTube, and mom and dad seem very, very nice, very worried, and they just want their daughter back. And under these kind of circumstances, who wouldn't? It's just very tragic, very, very tragic. So if everybody could share that, and if you get any hunches or anything, let me know. I'm getting hide and seek. Are you getting hide and seek? Like, I want to get away and be alone? Could be. And my bad, it's SF investigates. SF investigates Steve. I'm thinking of JLR. But SF investigates. He is following this case. He's a top-notch PI. He's helped a lot of people. He's a good guy. And the drone footage is very, very interesting to see. Give him a follow. And like I said, he will take you over to the YouTube page. And with that, let's see what we've got. I'm going to keep looking for a timestamp. If anybody sees a timestamp, if you're looking at other true crime shows or have any other information, you get a timestamp, shoot it to me and I'll remap it. And there's a picture of her to the left with her mom and dad. She's a beautiful young girl. There she was out taking pictures recently with the flowers. She was a photographer. So, okay, here we go. You know, yes, I'm hiding from someone. I'll come out when I'm ready. Someone helping me hide. That's what I said. Check reservation. Could very well be. Could be hiding from life, from the BF. Who knows? Just, I got to get away. That very well could be. That's a good hunch. Very well could be. Okay, now we've got another case that we're going to look at next week, Layla Santinello. If anybody is in the Kingsport, Tennessee area, they are going to do a community search Saturday, November the 11th at 9 a.m. This is down in Kingsport, Tennessee, around where Little Summer Wells disappeared, in that area. It's almost on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. So if anybody is in that area, please reach out. And you can also, SF investigates. He's also putting this together. Get with him. Get with this Layla Santinello's group. And even just help any way you can to help search in this area. And get some of her flyers out as well. She's been missing as well since, I believe, around August, September. She's been missing from Tennessee. So there you go. And Peggy said could have taken a picture of something she could not have. You know, you just never know, do you? We just don't know what happens with folks anymore. Or if they've had these, you know, like I said, that's exactly right. Oh, that's so funny. You said Tennessee, and I heard no Kentucky before you said Kentucky border. Wonder what that means. No Kentucky. It's on the border. It's in northern Tennessee, northeastern Tennessee. No Kentucky before you said Kentucky border. It's up north. So everybody, that is our case for this week. Keep in tuned. I will update everybody next week. Thank you so much for your input and for watching. And don't forget that, let me see if I got another. I don't think I have anything else on this. No, I don't. I will be right back on with Keith on the eclipses at 8. So everybody have a wonderful week. Look at this. They don't like witnesses. No, they don't. Could be. We just don't know. It's just weird. Just poof, gone. Poof, gone. So have a great week. I will talk to you guys next week. We will look at this case next week. And if I have any updated information on Chelsea, I will bring that. But next week, we're going to look at Layla's case. And it's another very mysterious disappearance. Okay, June of 2023. And Lee says, I'll jump on after my call at 8:30. Perfect. And Peggy, see you in a minute. You guys, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in and have a great week. And I will see everybody next Monday at 7. So have a good evening. And don't forget to watch our ending. I got to find it on here somewhere because it's really cute and Halloween-y. Halloween-y. Okay, I think this is it. All right.